Welcome to Chad Evans Entertainment, and I'm going to show you how to become a better player on your instrument. Now, let's talk about some real. I'm going to give you some real important things you should work on. One, you've heard it before: scale. Now, these scales I want you to learn are all your major scales and your melodic and harmonic minor scale. Now, when I say learn these scales, I mean this. You take this, let's say you take the C scale, all right, and you know the C scale well. You play it, you're very relaxed. You can play thirds, you can play the fourths, you can play all type of patterns with the C scale. Now, when you go to play the F sharp scale, and it's a little bit more challenging for you, you want to be able to play the F sharp scale the same way you play the C scale. Now, how do we do that? What you have to do sometimes is take that scale, and it might not be the F sharp scale, it might be another scale, right? But you want to take that scale and you say, okay, today I'm going to play this scale only for 2 hours. Or you might say, I'm going to play it 2 days. I've heard people say they've taken the scale for a whole week and worked on that scale only for a whole week. Because the thing is, you want to be able to play the scale and be relaxed as you are with the scales that are easy for you, right? So when you're playing, you want to, and not playing, so when you're practicing, you want to practice very slow and then speed up, like in your metronome. Say you're at 70, play something, then go to 75, play it, and you want to concentrate on relaxation. You don't want to go as fast as you can get to and play it, but you have intention. The biggest thing you're working on when you're playing your scales is relaxation. You want to get to the relaxation point. You don't want to get to that where you're playing hard, but you're playing fast, but you're tense. So that is the key component that a lot of young musicians don't understand. If you can understand that, you're going to go a long way by practicing relaxation while you're playing fast. So now on the melodic minor scale, you know how that goes. You raise a 6 or 7 going up and a natural coming down. Well, you can also play and keep the 6 or 7 raised coming down too. It's a really hip sound when you do that, when you keep them raised the whole time. Keep that in mind when you're working on different songs or what have you. Okay, so the other scale is the pentatonic scale. Pentatonic scale, you know, or you should know, is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So you want to work on that scale in all keys. Now that also covers the blues scale, because if you take the C pentatonic scale, which is C, D, E, G, A, right? And say you take that same scale, you're not changing any notes, but you want to start it on A. Same C pentatonic scale, A, C, D, E, G, A. Same thing. But say we add the E flat in there. A, C, D, E flat, E, G, A. Now you have the blues scale. So that's why I'm saying just work on the pentatonic scale, and all you have to do is add that note in there, and it'll be a blues scale. You just have to understand that. The C pentatonic scale, right? The A is a 6 above it, or 3 steps below it. And so I won't get too heavy into that, but just work on the pentatonic scale. So make sure you work on your scales, slow, and all of them. Put more time on the difficult scale than you would on the easy scale. Don't even work with the easy scale that much, okay? The next thing you want to be able to do is be able to hear the chords on your horn. You want to be able to hear the major 7, the dominant 7, the minor 7, half diminished, augmented. You want to hear all the values of the chords. Now, if you have some piano skills, I don't want you to go to the piano and play the chord. I actually want you to hear the chord from your horn, or whatever horn you are. If you are playing the piano, still don't play the chord. Play the arpeggios with 2 hands. You see, that gives you some work, 2-hand work. But it's very important to play the arpeggios through the songs, because, wait, I think I missed a point. So we're working on, so I want to talk to you about working on arpeggios But a good way to work on them is through a song. That's what I want to say, yeah. Because just to work on them is one thing, but if you work on them in a song, that allows you to hear changes in motion. So, and most songs, not most songs, but a lot of songs, you're going to cover a half the minute somewhere in there. You're going to cover an augmented in there somewhere. You're definitely going to cover major and minors. So say you take a song and you arpeggiate that whole song. Then you do that in all keys. Well, that's good work. Not only is it good work for your dexterity, but it's also good work for your ear, because you're starting to hear things. You're starting to hear sounds. You really start to hear stuff when you start working with your arpeggios through a song. And while you're hearing something might hit you. Say, "Oh, wow! I wonder what this would sound like." Play it, and then work with that whenever you hear something. I remember reading back in the day when they had like liner notes on albums. I remember reading something about Charlie Parker, right? And the guy said that they were in the daytime they were just hanging out before the gig, but Charlie Parker was playing these arpeggios all day long, just playing arpeggios up and down. And then when they got on the gig, the guy said it was unbelievable. It was the most beautiful thing he heard. He said because he heard how he worked those arpeggios in such a way musically that made the song so much beautiful. So work on those arpeggios is very important, right? The last thing I want to tell you is how to have the mentality to become a great player. You want to be able to go to the sit-ins, right? The jam sessions or whatnot. And when you go to them, try to, we all have our friends that we hang out with, but you want to hang out with people who are not hang out, but you want to go to the places where the people are much better than you. They're just awesome players, right? But you want to get in that crowd. You want to get on stage and try to play with them. And chances are you're going to get smashed. If you're not ready, you're just going to get smashed. But the mentality that I want you to have is that, okay, I didn't know that song. I just bombed out. But you want to have the mentality, I can't even say mentality, to go and work on whatever situation that you had. You want to go and work on that. So don't be afraid to get into situations that you're uncomfortable with when you're playing jazz. Just get in there, get crushed, bring that intensity home, and work on whatever the issue was that you were weak on. Work on it. I didn't know that song, but now I'm going to learn that song in all keys. So the next time they play it, I will know it. So no problem. So now these are some things that I know helped me through my career where I'm able to play with anybody. If you are having a band that's playing country music, or a band that's playing hip hop, R&B, or whatever, you won't have any problem switching to that genre because you put in the work with the jazz music. The only thing I'm willing to tell you though is this: that don't go on an R&B, depending on who you're playing with, but don't go on an R&B gig or a country gig or something like that and start playing patterns and all kind of hip licks, because that might be not what they're looking for. You want to be able to get in the pocket, be able to go into the pocket of whatever genre you're playing, try to land and stay in that pocket, right? So these are some tips that I know are proven. Put the work in and you will be very happy with your results. Music is life. See you later.